Welcome to Sikbaggers YouTube channel. I'm Steve. Today we're going to talk about motorcycle tool bags. Now I know that there's already a lot of videos on YouTube that cover the different tool bags. Today we're going to talk about the different kinds of tool bags that are out there, and especially the ones that we carry and the ones that we take with us. And just right up front, I just want to let you know this is no product endorsement, anything like this. All of this stuff I either had, I bought at the pawn shop super cheap, or purchased on Amazon if there was something specific that I was looking for, or at the local hardware store. It's just kind of a mixed bag of everything. We work on a lot of different bikes in here, and I'm constantly always finding myself, especially with the Harleys, you're finding yourself grabbing the same size wrench, the same size Torx head, Allen heads, sockets. And Harley's done something kind of clever, and I'm sure saves them money, but it also helps us when we're wrenching on the bikes too. But you may take one in particular bolt on the bike, and you'll end up finding that same bolt 10 different places on the bike. That's why every single bolt and washer that we pull off these bikes, say if we're replacing it with a aftermarket part and it comes with hardware, all of those bolts and washers get thrown right there behind that camera on that bench, and there's just a pile of Harley bolts and washers. So we just kind of came up with a tool pack for us that covers several different bikes. Now, just because you're riding a bagger, one of your buddies or somebody you may not even know maybe broke down on the side of the road on a soft tail, well, it may need some different tools than what you have for your bagger. So we just kind of come up with a kit of just a little bit of everything that if we can generally get the job done on the side of the road, and plus we like to keep these cheap. Now, why would anybody want a bag of cheap tools? So there's a couple of things that come to mind on buying cheap tools or having cheap tools put in your tool bag, especially if you're working on the side of the road and you're trying to get your bike or a buddy's bike or somebody's bike that you don't even know. Chances are you're going to leave a tool laying on the ground. You're in a hurry, you're trying to get off that side of that road. It's not a big deal. You're out 50 cents or $1, you know, a pawn shop tool, big deal. And there's just a lot of times that you may not have the time right then to stop and help work on the bike. They know what they're doing, but they just don't have the tools. It's easy to leave them with a couple of dollars worth of tools and scoot on down the road, and you know they're taken care of, and you've done something good, and you're out a couple of bucks. No big deal. Go to the pawn shop and replace it. Now, obviously, the different brand bikes out there have more storage room than others. These Street Glide and Road Glide, just with the saddlebags, we have the saddlebags to put a pretty good sized tool bag in. Softail Cholo style, like what we're building over here, the saddlebags that were on there came off, so where do we put our tools now? And it's also not a bad idea to make two of these. You can take cheap stuff, keep collecting it until you build a second tool kit, put it in your truck, your car, whatever you drive. You know how many times I've seen a motorcycle broke down on the side of the road, somebody I don't even know, you know, especially out here in the country. You see them broke down on the side of the road, you turn around, you go back and you see if they're all right, see if they need any help. Now, we all have cell phones. We know they're not going to be stranded, but if something we can fix right there on the side of the road and get them back going again, let's do it. If I don't have some sort of tools on me in my truck that fit most of the Harley stuff, your second tool bag, then that's about all I can do is just pull over and say, hey, you all right? And get back in my truck and drive on down the road, because I don't have anything to help them. So building a second tool bag is not a terrible idea. And once again, if you build it cheap enough, you can just leave the tools with them. Hey, here you go. Hope you get it fixed. Scoot on down the road. So today we're going to talk about the tool pack that we carry in the touring bike. No matter which one we take, the Road Glide or the Street Glide, we just grab it out, we throw it down in the bottom of the saddlebag or up in the tour pack, and we've got our stuff with us. And you'd be surprised at how much stuff I have in this little bag. If you're going on a long trip and you're already loaded down with a bunch of stuff, 8 pounds is a lot of weight to add to that. But you have to remember, middle of the night, side of the road, 8 pounds isn't that much. So let's get over to the table. I'll dump this thing out and show you everything that's in this pack. And I'll tell you where I got everything. Now, there's a lot of bags on Amazon that you can find. But one of the things that we do invest money into is Molle equipment. We do have like drop leg holsters and stuff like that. Like a Molle bag like this where it has Velcro on the outside, and actual places like this is a Molle system that can connect to a Molle belt or a backpack or something like that. But this is kind of a cool system because it does have these on here, little snap things, and you can take them off if you want to. We just leave them on there. I just use them as a handle. Of course, places to hook a strap if you wanted to. What's good about a tactical Molle bag is usually they're tough. 1000D nylon, they always have really good zippers in them. This one was purchased on Amazon, and I'll leave a link in the description to this bag. So my thought process on the tool bag itself, wanting a good tough tool bag, was keeping it all in there. It's not, I'm gonna be pretty ticked off if I pull over and the zipper's busted on my cheap, you know, Walmart bag or Amazon bag, and my tools are all over the inside of my tour pack or my saddlebag. So buying a good, tough, tactical bag like this is a good bet. This one I think was about 20 bucks on Amazon. So we'll take everything out and put it on the table. Of course, some extra wire. So just some like 12 or 14 gauge wire is always a safe bet. We'll do the wrenches. This is kind of a combo wrench, 3/8, 7/16. That always comes in handy on a Harley. Your 1/2 inch, your 9/16. This is going to be a 10 and a 12. Those are all pretty common. A good set of cheapo side cutters, I think, man, like Walmart, probably $2, or man, I think like my local hardware store, like $2 or something. But good set of side cutters. I always keep a couple of ratchets. As you can see, this one's been around for a long time and it's had some torque put on it, but the thing still works. It's a beast. It's been a little bit, but hell, you know, cheap ratchets, both sizes. And then from there, we'll go to our sockets. I find myself pulling out the deep wells quite a bit. So we're just, you know, the standard, same as the wrenches pretty much. We've got a 1/2 inch, we've got a 7/16. You've got a deep well 10. And that's what's cool also about this tactical bag is you've got these stretchy little pocket things here that hold these sockets and wrenches and stuff really good. This is not a tool bag. It's not designed for tools. It's Molle system, so it's pretty much designed to hold anything, but it's worked out great for holding sockets. On the short end, you're gonna have the 1/2 inch, of course, a 10 millimeter, a 7/16. I've got a 12 millimeter here. And on the 10 millimeters, I always keep both sizes of the 10 millimeter because you never know when you're gonna have to hold one side and turn another. So 10 millimeters is pretty common on the Harleys. Of course, good set of cheapo pliers, a crescent wrench, just a little cheap pin flashlight so you can see what you're doing. And on the big pocket back here, I do have all 3 sets. I picked these up on Amazon just because it does come with the star set and it has all of the common ones. That T27 is kind of hard to find sometimes in toolkits. The 20, 25, 27, those are all pretty common on the Harley. And then of course your metric and your standard set of Allen wrenches. But if you lay those flat side by side like that in this pocket right here, that fits good. Whoop, I almost forgot. Little cheapo tactical knife. I keep that thing razor blade sharp, but just for cutting stuff, you know, just a small little pocket knife. And we do have a pair of needle nose, a pair of channel locks. On the other side, we do have this little screwdriver kit. This is a 25-piece kit. This did come off of Amazon as well, but it's just a convenient little kit that pretty much has everything in it. You've got a ratcheting screwdriver, and I don't know, I think this thing was maybe 20 bucks, but I'll put a link to it down in the description. But it's got everything. I mean, it's got star heads, Allen heads, it's got some sockets all the way up to a 10 millimeter, you know, Phillips flat, everything. We do have a 3/4 inch wrench because you just never know. That's a pretty good size wrench. That goes a few places on a bagger. We do have both size extensions. I keep those over here just because the small one just doesn't really fit in there very well. It ends up falling out anyway, so we just keep it in the zipper pocket. And we keep the Teflon tape in there just because we do have air ride, and if we ever get a leak, it's easy to use the wrenches and pull it apart and put some Teflon tape on there. But if you ever get one of your plugs leaking or something like that, the Teflon tape is going to come in handy. Super cheap. Just a used roll of electric tape instead of a full one. And if you don't even want to carry that much electric tape, you could take and wrap a lot of that, just a big wad of this around your flashlight or, you know, your crescent wrench or something, just to have electric tape. Because let's be honest, if you're on the side of the road and you're using an entire roll of electric tape, you've got way more issues than you need to be dealing with on the side of the road. So just keep that in mind. I mean, you know, most of us have just a little used roll of electric tape. And if you don't, if all you have is a brand new roll, take some off and spin it around one of these tools or something. That way you have some electric tape. So that's pretty much it. That's in the tool bag, but what we have left in the zipper pocket is what I call my little goodie bag. This stuff can come in super handy when you're out there on the side of the road. So let's just dump this out and have a look at it. So of course, blue Loctite. If you own a Harley and you don't have blue Loctite, you're not wrenching on your bike anyway. Blue Loctite and your Harley are best friends. Trust me, go purchase some blue Loctite. In this bag, we have zip ties, and we don't need to carry honking big, huge zip ties. If you need one bigger than this, then just put 2 together, put 3 together. You're not out a bunch of money. This little bag of zip ties came from Walmart. 4-inch assorted cable ties, and it might have cost $1. And I don't know how many's in there, 50? There's 50 in there. So the heat shrink, same thing, came from like Harbor Freight, big tubes of it, and I just cut it down to size. There's 3 different sizes of heat shrink in there, so that can always come in handy. Of course, some spare fuses. If you have some dielectric grease left over from a project or a light that you bought or something, this little pack of dielectric grease actually comes with 0 parts, and there's so much in here, and it doesn't take but just a little dab. So every time I get a part from 0 or something, I just cut the edge off, use what I need, and I keep what's left over, and then I get to the point where I just have full bags. But you can buy this stuff cheap on Amazon as well, like $3 for a bottle of dielectric grease. Any of the lighting connectors or heated grips, anything like that, if you want a good watertight, good solid connection, put a little dielectric grease on those connections and then put it together. A razor blade, because you just never know. I mean, that's just a cheap Walmart pack of razor blades that we keep in the shop, so I just put 1 in there. And then making electric connections on the side of the road, super easy. You really obviously can't get out there and solder on the side of the road. So these little boogers right here I pick up on Amazon, and we use these all the time. Let me get this in camera where hopefully you can see it. These little packs of these little solder in the middle, it's just like heat shrink, except for you got these blue lines here which kind of melt like a glue and give you like a watertight seal on both ends, and then that solder melts and just kind of drips in through the wires and solders it for you right there on the side of the road. So good solid connection with that. Just a lighter or a little pen torch or something will melt that solder. And these little expensive posi tap things right here, they work super good, but they are pretty expensive. But these are the Posi Tap brand, and it basically at the bottom, if you've never seen these before, you unscrew that all the way, and it's got a line in it. You slide that onto the wire, and then you can see the little poker. You put that through there, and then you screw it down, and that makes contact with the wire. So you've got a wire going through here this way, and then you want to connect a wire to that. You just unscrew that, and there's a hole in the end. Run your bare wire down in that hole, and then just screw it down tight, and you've got like a little T connection now. So they work really good, but like I said, they're kind of pricey. But these always come in handy, especially if it's like pouring down rain and you're wanting to put a solder connection on and you can't keep your lighter lit to put this on. You know, you can always use one of these, or you can just go straight old school with it to get it off the side of the road and just trim that wire back and wrap it around, throw some electric tape on it, and hit the road. So this is everything that I carry inside my touring tool bag, because it's a pretty good size bag. I mean, it's a small bag, but it holds a lot. You know, like I said, if you got a Softail or a Sportster or something like that, you don't have the option to really carry that big of a bag. You may have to kind of eliminate a few things, but honestly, if you can't get it fixed with this on the side of the road, you're going to be calling a tow truck anyway. So, but if you work on your bike and you find yourself grabbing certain tools all the time, you know, just kind of keep track of that in your head and go out and pick up some tools. To go over where I got most of this stuff. Now, like I said, we wrench, so we have a lot of this stuff just extra anyway. But really, the cheapest way to build this kit, seriously, is your pawn shop. Because I'll be honest with you, I stock up on sockets and wrenches at our pawn shop. I don't know how they do it at y'all's pawn shops, but every pawn shop around here, this loose stuff like wrenches and sockets and stuff, they'll just have like big tubs of them, and they sell the stuff by the pound. You don't go up there and pay $2 per wrench, but you just pick out the stuff that you need, and then they just take it over and weigh it, and that's what you pay. You're buying it by the pound. So of course, the bigger, more heavy wrenches are going to cost a little more. But these channel locks, these things are old. I've had them things forever. But if you have to go out and buy this stuff brand new, maybe you only have one of each one of these tools and you want to build 1 or 2 tool kits, take a trip to the pawn shop. And don't be afraid to go to Walmart or your local hardware store and buy the cheapest tool they can get. These things were like $1.89. I think $2 for these and $2 for the needle nose, which also have cutters on them. And this style here actually has some teeth on the inside, so you can actually grab some nuts if you have to. Yeah, that didn't come out right at all, but you know what I mean. But like I said, the wrenches, the sockets, the ratchets, all that stuff, go to the pawn shop, check out their prices, see if they sell it by the weight. That's the best way to buy it. 10mm sockets, I will straight F up a pawn shop trying to find 10mm. I will buy every 10mm socket they have. I lose those things all the time. They go flying off or they roll off the lift and I kick them. And every time we do like a clean in this garage, I'll find 3 or 4 of them. The Loctite, just get whatever brand you want to get. Man, I've used them all. They all do exactly what they're supposed to do. You know, this was a couple bucks at Harbor Freight. On the fuses, I do like the Bussman. They seem pretty solid, but I mean, they can get pricey. These little packs like this. If you're blowing more than the 5 fuses that are in here, you're having a bad day anyways. So that's it. That's our touring model toolkit. That's the one that I built up. And just off the top of my head, I don't know how much I have invested in that, but like I said, because I already had a lot of the tools. But I'm gonna say if you have to go out and buy all that, 50 bucks, 60 bucks if you had to buy it all brand new. So if you're like me and you already have extra of a lot of that stuff, there's really no point of rebuying it. And like I said, if you have to buy all that stuff, head to the pawn shop. You're gonna get that stuff dirt cheap. Build your own pack. You know what's in the pack. You're not getting this pre-built $100 tool pack and you're gonna open it and go, you know, it doesn't have this or it doesn't have that. Like I said, I'm not knocking any of the pre-built tool bags, and I've read tons of comments on other tool bag videos, and a lot of guys, you know, are, hey man, I bought this tool bag and it has everything I need. Hey man, I bought this tool bag and it has everything I need. And you get on there and ask them, hey, have you had to use that tool bag yet on the side of the road? None of them reply. So, you know, to me, it just makes me think they're buying these pre-made $100 tool bags just in case. And yes, absolutely, it's better than nothing. But to me, making my own bag just makes more sense. But what I want from you is to let me know what you carry in your tool bag. If you bought a pre-made tool bag, A, have you used it on the side of the road? And B, did it have everything in it that you needed? Or did you have to add stuff to it when you got home? I'm honestly curious about that because I've looked at several different pre-made tool bags, and every single one that I've looked at, I've kind of been like, yeah, that's nice, but I'm gonna add this, I'm gonna add that, I'm gonna add some of this. But like I said, let me know if you have a tool bag or you don't have a tool bag, and let me know what's inside of it. If you do have one and you have stuff that I don't have that you think maybe could help me or help somebody else in the community, put it in the description down below. So that's pretty much it. That's what's in my tool bag, and my little spin on this entire tool bag video thing is to make 2 of these. One for your motorcycle and one for your other vehicle. Like I said in the beginning of the video, you never know when you see somebody broke down on the side of the road and you're in your truck and you're like, man, if I was on my bike, I'd have my tool bag and I could stop and help him. Maybe you do have tools in your car or truck, but if you don't, it's not a big deal. It's pretty cheap just to go ahead and build a second bag for motorcycle stuff and throw it in your car or your truck. So that's gonna wrap up the tool bag video for me, but you know the deal. If you have any comments, questions, anything like that, let me know what you think down in the description. But I'm gonna get out of here and get back to work. I hope to see you in the next video, but until then, as always, be safe and keep your knees in the breeze. Thanks for checking out the YouTube video, guys. If you like what you see, make sure you hit the subscribe button over here. Over 100 bagger related videos on our YouTube channel, but to get you started, maybe you can check out this one or this one. Just one of them. Not really gonna say anything else, just click the button, man. It'll just